start by doing some introductions. Beep 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 ba 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 boop. Let's see. Soon, chat will react. I will be able to see in chat if we are live or not. And I have to mute my own stream as well to not. There we go. There we go.
Yeah, I just muted it on my screen so we're not getting that ping pong effect.
Hello, party people. Hello, Polandballers. We are live. We are live with your hosts, Dick Rhino and Chicken Scuttle Monkey, who's joining me on voice chat. Now let's see.
What are you doing today? Y'all having a good day?
Pyro says that he can't hear me well, so that was a thing that I already anticipated, but we have to fiddle a bit with audio levels, because that always happens on my stream. My streams are always ASMR streams, because I have to do these things while my daughter is sleeping, so I have to speak really, really close to the microphone, and I have to use this kind of voice. But then the issue is if I have someone else on voice chat like CSM who's speaking like with a normal voice, then that's probably just going to get blasted out. So I might have to lower CSM's voice a bit like that. And so that... Nice. Oof. Now, to answer questions that have already popped up in chat, yes, I do have a kid. That's pretty well known at this point if you've been watching these streams before. That good old Dick Rhino has a daughter. I just remembered I'm gonna have to do a quick ping in the Discord to say that we are live, and I can it's in the live stream happenings, but I only pinged like an hour ago saying like, oh, we're gonna go live in an hour, but now I'm pinging again saying we are live. Yeah, the random channel says I watch your videos all the time, just never really the streams. Ah, that's fair. That's fair. Understood then. A cool Foxy threw out the first question. Are you a virgin? I'm gonna say that I can't speak for CSM, but there is such a thing as a virgin birth, and my wife has told me that this is quite common, and my doctor wife has told me it's quite normal for women to have virgin births. Ah, eat that, Ben Shapiro. No, wait, really? Is Rizvon here in stream? That would be cool. Okay, Cool Foxy wants to know, CSM, are you a virgin? There you have it, people. You could be the first to have sex with CSM. Anyway, Top Hat wants to know if I was the pregnant one. Maybe I turned you down too much. I'm gonna turn you up. Okay.
Hello. Hi.
Okay.
Now
I-
Top Hat says I'm too loud.
God damn it. Well, let's see. Let's see if. No. Cool Foxy says can't hear CSM. Okay. I'm gonna have to turn you up. Speak up. It's just me. It's on my end.
Hello.
I have to.
Hi.
I just have to adjust the audio level so that you and I are like the same volume.
Yes, that makes sense. Am I coming through? Can anybody hear me? Hello.
I'm gonna raise you up a little bit more. Try now. Do some chit chats.
Hello. Chit chat. Chat. Check. Credit. Debit. Cash. Check.
Mic check. Mic check.
Mic check. Check 1, 2. Check. Oh, cool. Cool Foxy says it's good.
Okay, it's good.
Sphinxon says still
good
low.
Now.
But...
Good now. Perfect. Froglord still thinks it's too quiet. They say they can hear you now, but it's quite low. Okay, I'm gonna crank you up just a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right.
Crank.
Now we have to be fine. Now
cool.
we have to be fine.
Hell, you can hear me for sure. I saw this question. Chaotic Artist was asking what our favorite comic is, and this is one of those questions that, like, okay, look, Dick Rhino and I both have been reading and drawing comics in the Polandball sphere, pun intended, for what, 11 and a half years? We've seen so many comics, and narrowing it down to a favorite is super difficult.
Hold up. I'm just gonna say that Cool Foxy, you are a madman. Cool Foxy just gifted another 20 memberships. I saw that he gifted 20 like as he was waiting for the stream to start as well. That is goddamn nuts. Foxy, you make every stream we do like just a total party. You are red, yes. and chat is popping off. That is so cool. Okay, sorry.
Yes,
continue.
No, we had to acknowledge that. It was important.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick a favorite comic, I think it's this old, not technically a Burned Maid. It was called The History of the Union by this guy Lord Monbotto. Years and years ago.
He was one of our favorite Scottish artists.
Yeah, but it was back in that early day when like these long form comics were not a thing, really. It was like the History of the Union. I think Dick Rhino had either the Alvsborg or Holland, and I'm probably mispronouncing the hell out of those. But I think it was absolutely History of the Union for me that was like, oh shoot, I can draw these long sprawling comics.
I'm gonna see if I can find it and pop it up on stream. History of the Union. Because I think...
While that's being answered, while you're looking up that, Deadly Sledgehammers is asking what my favorite comic was this month on the subreddit. Before I answer that question, I have officially been diagnosed with my ADHD, so I have to look at the subreddit to double check and see what I've upvoted. Because I have goldfish memory. See, top this past week, because I know I've upvoted and I know I've been kind of trolling through. Oh, yeah, and not just because it's currently the top of the past week, but man, I thought it was good. Andy is Cool's Alla Birds. If you haven't seen that one,
yeah.
Oh, also, I really liked Bio Editor's Rectangle comic. Where he'd like the opportunistic origami where he folds it into a little boat.
Yeah, that one was really good too. I like that one. Now you can keep talking. And you have to pay attention to chat while I'm gone because I am looking through. Because unfortunately, Lord Monbotto has deleted his Reddit account, so it's a bit tricky to find it. But it's fine. I have a database, people. I have a goddamn.
Excellent.
I have a goddamn database of every Polandball comic ever made. Don't you worry about it. I'm gonna find it.
All right. I've seen. So one question I saw: will I ever do a stream where I compose a song? Ooh. I mean, if y'all are ever interested in anything like that, once I figure out the technology, I could just pull up what my music creating process is like. Just kind of live stream my FL Studio, poking around with stuff. That could be interesting. Like let's see. Other questions.
Oh yeah, I also want to tell people this, just so you know, in chat, when we go through the questions and whatnot, we want to set down 3 ground rules, just so that people are aware of them. Ground rule number 1: we are not going to answer questions that can be used to like dox us. So any question that is going to make it like super apparent, like where we live, or very very specific about where we work, things of that nature, we're not going to answer that. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2: we're not going to answer anything of this nature of like, hey, can you read this thing out loud? And then it's just something like super racist or super offensive like that. We want to keep this sort of like lighthearted and fun, so we're not going to do that. And finally, we are going to respect people. If people want to donate money to us and just do that just to support the channel, we are going to respect and honor that. So if we get like super bombarded with questions, we might not have the chance to like answer everything. So we will give a bit of preferential treatment to the people who spend the money to ask us questions.
Speaking of, Italia is asking about Red Comic Club on Spotify. That is this upcoming Friday.
Ooh. Okay, I have found it. It took some digging, but I have found it. Oh wow, it's so long. It's like over 200
It's so
panels.
long. I remember like that statistic of that one being kind of the longest comic that we had seen up until that point.
For a long time, it was the longest comic ever made.
I wonder now if like I don't know if my serials have taken that record or if somebody else has. I know Bobu numbers something did this like the rise and fall of the Ottoman Empire series that was also awesome. That one's a little bit more recent for those of y'all who haven't seen it. It's a pretty long. There's like 20 something chapters and like a lot of panels for each of those comics. So,
All right.
ooh, this is the second time I saw this question. The Somalia sea shanty. I so fun ADHD fun fact if y'all don't know. Very quickly you can pick up a project and then completely forget about it. Thank you for reminding me about that one. That's one that I had completely forgotten about.
Now, I am currently in the process of pasting in this entire serial here. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but I'm working on it. And then I will rejoin chat, because currently I have been spending a couple of minutes doing this, and I've been leaving chat to you to keep an eye on. Oof.
A lot of people want to hear me. A lot of people seem to want to hear me sing live.
That would be
So
cool,
before
though.
before I get into that, singing in front of people, weirdly enough, is like that. It's different when you're recording because then you can kind of like curate it and control it. But let's see. It's also like kind of it's that I don't know if any of y'all in chat have ever been in front of people or in front of an audience or like knowing that there are people listening.
Wait.
That
Coco is on camera. Cat is on camera. Hello, Coco. You have been beeping and meowing, so now as punishment you have to be on camera. Hello, Coco. Oh, he's so mad.
cat text.
He's so mad. Yes, the cat text.
We got Deadly Sledgehammer saying don't sing. We got other people asking for it. Username such and such I have not sang yet.
Oh yeah. how much? If we're gonna be like, how much are you willing to pay to have CSM sing on stream? No, we're not gonna do that. We also need a good song. I might have to throw up a poll for that as well. In that case, of just like, it has to be
This
some.
username I can't pronounce asked if I had a cat. I used to have a cat, and I had her for 7.5 long years. She's currently living with some of my friends, though, so
So she's
still very much alive. Very much alive.
alive and kicking. Oh my god. My cat is determined to sabotage this stream.
Whoa, cool Foxy just dropped some money to ask me to sing. I feel like I have to at that
Oh
point.
my god. Yeah, dude, he dropped Foxy dropped $50. I think
All right.
I think that entitles him to something.
All right, let me see if I remember the lyrics. I'm 2 days into Belgium building my defensive line. There's this guy, let's call him Britain, says to move back past the Rhine, but it doesn't really sit with me quite right, because I just can't match his naval might, and I just keep thoughtlessly throwing soldiers at the French lines in the middle of the night.
Nice. That was
It's about
amazing.
the length of the short.
Chat, give it up. Give it up for CSM. Hell yeah. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. The crowd goes wild.
Lord. Let's see. Said look at Discord messages. Oh, nice. Composing song stream. Yeah. One of these days. It will happen. I say it will, and it's just a matter of time.
Yes. And I think crowd would chat would love it. It seems like there's very clear that like there's genuine interest in that from chat.
Yeah, I think that could be a lot of fun. To bring my acoustic guitar back home.
Now I am almost done here. Almost done with
Okay.
my gigantic project of cutting together.
So
State
one
of the
Deadly
Union.
Sledgehammer. Yeah. Deadly Sledgehammer is asking if maybe he could send, or he, they, she, who knows, I don't know, behind the username, is asking if they can send some piano skills via Discord and like play it live maybe. Somebody else is asking. Oh,
Maybe. Hard to say exactly how that would be organized, because like anything that we play here on stream would sort of have to be like vetted first. We can't just have someone send us like an MP3 or whatever and like, here, play this.
that's true.
Because trolls exist.
That's true.
So we
End up playing that remove kebab video or something.
Yeah, exactly. So we'd have to look it up beforehand. So it would be hard to do in the process of like while we're live on stream. Now, let's see. The random channel asks, "Will Amazon Music have Red Commie Club?" You can answer this.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, next Friday, when everything goes live, it should be on pretty much any streaming service that you use. So if you're a Spotify person, it'll be there. If you're an Amazon person, it'll be there. If you're an iTunes person, and those people still exist these days, Apple Music, all that stuff, it should be there. I know YouTube Music
Awesome.
is also a thing.
Awesome.
So it's on this like Indian streaming service, Savan.
Wow.
Yeah, just anything that DistroKid has, it'll be there.
Callie X asks when Polandball animated season 2 is gonna come, and unfortunately it won't. We've announced this before that Alpaca and Gate Nerd left the channel a while ago, and the Polandball animated series was Alpaca's baby. So Alpaca has their own channel called Alpaca Studios. That would be where you would have to go to see any updates to that. A Cool Foxy wants to know. Cool Foxy donated 911 and asks, will it be on Alexa Music or whatever Alexa uses?
I think that's Amazon Music, probably. I know you can set your, and I'm probably going to trigger a whole bunch of Alexas right now by saying it, but
Alexa,
like
Alexa played 2 days into Despacito.
2 days into Despacito. Oh my gosh. Just as a side note, it is wild to me going on the original 2 days into college video and seeing the references to 2 days into Belgium.
That's nuts. That's some of the most highly upvoted comments on that video now is just talking about 2 days into Belgium, which is crazy. So people, we're not going to tell you to brigade because we don't want you to do that. All we're saying is that we if Red Comic Club blows up, we sort of expect something similar to happen on Pink Pony Club.
I saw this question about eventually doing a parody of Bohemian Rhapsody. Okay, look, first of all, Bohemian Rhapsody is one of my favorite songs of all time. Second of all, man, the amount of effort that would go into like doing that justice, but it would be so cool.
Yeah. Sardine wants us to sing the Coconut song. The problem is, like, I don't know it by heart.
I don't know the Coconut song at all.
Oh, really? The Coconut song it's like from the Philippines, and there's another countryballs channel called Berry Pie, which did like there exists like an old MS Paint animation of the Coconut song on YouTube, and it's been out for like 10, 15 years or whatever. And Berry Pie did like a Polandball version of it, which is like really good, like fantastic animation as well, and just really good drawing style too. And it's just a song about how awesome coconuts are and how they're good for everything. And apparently it's
So
just this popular Filipino sort of like folksy sort of song. I know that they played the Coconut song for Obama during one of his state visits to the Philippines.
I love it when memes infiltrate real life like that.
Yeah. So anyone who hasn't seen it, you can check that out on YouTube. The channel is called Berry Pie. Berry Pie made the Coconut song animation in like Polandball style, and it's really, really good. So check that out. Frosty3 wants to know, how do I make Polandball music? No, Polandball comic. How do I make Polandball comic? Well, that's easier.
Do we want the long version or the short version?
Well, the short version is you open MS Paint and you start drawing. That's the cool part about Polandball. It's got such a low barrier of entry. It's like, it's just silly MS Paint comics. Anyone can do it, really. The shittiness is part of the charm, is what we usually say.
Yeah, and there's just something about that kind of quaint style of art that, I mean, to this day, if a comic has that sort of like simple art style, but the joke is just phenomenal, those comics are always the ones that land the best, I think.
Yeah. Some of our favorite comics are also like just made by really like people who have like very simple styles. I mention Event a lot.
Yeah, I was just about to
FVBLT.
say,
Yeah, FVBLT is up there too.
FVBLT.
Yeah.
God, the writing of an FBL. I'm just taking to calling it fava bean lettuce tomato sometimes because that's easier than the consonants altogether.
It's very, very good at writing dialogue. 3 dogs,
Yes.
1 cat, an alien who loves foxes says, I'm 20 minutes late. Do not worry about that. We're going to be going for probably like another hour and a half, I'd say.
Yeah, probably something about that long.
Yeah.
I know at some point my wife is going to get back home and we'll have to like, because we're getting ready for a family dinner type thing to celebrate a birthday for someone in the family.
Ooh.
So, and yeah, it's like what, 3:30 in the afternoon here in the Central Time Zone.
Nice. Andy is cool asks, are you really been far even as decided to use even go want to do look more like?
Have you ever had a dream where sometimes, how sort of, yes.
Yeah, my uncle was big into nuclear. Now, let's see. Do you like Family Guy? That's an easy question. Yes, I like Family Guy. I haven't watched it in a couple of years. It sort of just fell off for me, so I don't know if it's Family Guy is still good or not. But I do know that I used to like it back in the day.
I remember, I feel like it's perfect for if you're 14 through like 17.
Really?
Like, I feel like there are significantly funnier shows out there, in my opinion. So there's some of those Family Guy moments that I like nostalgically, I just love it. Like the Sand People Orchestra choir thing, you show me that clip now and I will crack up every single time. But I feel like I don't know, it's a style of humor that it doesn't quite work for me most of the time.
Now, Mario Lopez asks, why is Singapore a triangle? I can answer that, but that is a very common question. It gets thrown out on every stream. The answer is, it's like no one knows for sure. No one knows if it's because it rhymes with Singapore. No one knows if it has a sort of connection to the Southeast Asian Singapore growth triangle or whatever.
I think it's the growth triangle.
There's been speculation, but no one knows exactly for sure. It's one of those mysteries in Polandball, what the origin of why Singapore is a triangle. That being said, you got me and CSM here. You got us here live. You were doing an AMA stream. You wanna hit us with them hard hitting questions. You wanna drop something on us that's like, ooh, I'm not sure they're gonna answer this. That's the sort of questions we want.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you're looking for like deep Polandball lore, like we're probably the two guys, the best two people to answer those kinds of
Yeah,
questions.
we've been through it all. We've been through all of the controversies and all of the scandals and all of the seedy underbelly of Polandball. We've seen it all.
Oh man, I don't know why the first thing that came to mind was like that conversation. So we're in mod mail and we were trying to figure out what to do if the greatest enemy hits the number one spot because it was a collaboration comic
Yeah.
and just the seriousness of these pixels on a screen and how we were going to award and divide those.
I think
But
we're a bit more chill nowadays than we were back then. Back then, Polandball was serious business.
it was serious, but like, man, those of y'all, pretty much all of y'all who don't know the name Java Code, like, just the way that the love and care that he put into that conversation, um, like, it made it feel like this
Oh
big thing
yeah.
that we were doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
But that's the thing. I like that. I like that
yeah,
because anything is as serious as you want it to be, and anything is as significant as you want it to be. And I like the idea of Polandball being significant. So the fact that he wanted to push it into being that, that just makes everyone feel like we're doing something important here, and that just makes me more motivated to participate in it. Username asks real quick, can you do an art review? Yes, but not on this stream. Art reviews are something we do like normally pretty often on streams. This one is going to be like an AMA thing instead. But yeah, like I'll do more streams coming up soon. Kolai is on a bit of a vacation. He's going to be gone for about a week or so, we think. So in the meantime, I'm gonna pick up the slack. So you're gonna see me. You're gonna see me in your evenings for about a week or so.
saw this question here. As moderators of the subreddit, who are your favorite artists in the sub you've seen? Feel free to throw in a. Oh man, um, first off my top of my head, Hinadira. If you've never seen the Hinadira comic, like you need to experience that.
I mean, you made a
Uh,
video essay about Hinadira.
That's true, I did, but like I'll still plug Hinadira every day of the week. Like that is one of the premier artists I think we've ever seen.
Ooh, ooh,
Um,
ooh, ooh. Here's a question that I can answer. Ryan Morgan asks, are the flags of countries their clothes? Are they just gray when they're not wearing a flag? If not, how do they change flags? And here's the thing, I can canonically answer that the answer to this question is yes, you are correct, because there is a comic that showcases this, and I remember it, but I don't know how in hell I'm gonna find it. It is the first comic showing Bermuda as a triangle. Because it's a comic where Bermuda as a triangle is chilling on a beach, and the UK is coming rowing with like Uyghur refugees or something that he just dumps off on Bermuda, and just gives them new clothes, which is some sort of like British flag with like it might be the Bermuda Triangle flag or Bermuda flag or some other one, and it just tells them to like change clothes, and then he just fucks off and just leaves them there with with Bermuda on the beach. That is the origin of Bermuda as a triangle, and it's like how on earth am I gonna find that? Because that's another one of those like I think the
yeah,
original artist has deleted, because the comic didn't have Bermuda in the title. I've been
that's always the hard part.
yeah, I know.
You're just like it's hard to search by tags. It's hard to search by title sometimes because it's just like, what was the title of this comic that I saw 10 years ago?
All right, if you give me a second to trawl the database a bit more, CSM will entertain chat. In the meantime, Andy is cool asks, are you ever going to do another podcast? Yes, we are considering bringing the podcast back. As such, you can see here in the backdrop, this is a work in progress that I am actually working on a new podcast studio. So,
Man, look at those angles. Look
I
at
know, I
that,
know.
all the lines and the drawings and stuff. No, I've started getting into GIMP a lot more. I've been pretty much for the entirety of my Poland balling, have been an MS Paint purist. And it was not until I got this new laptop that I have. So I mean, again, been using MS Paint for like what 11 years at this point, but my new laptop has Windows 11, and so Windows 11 MS Paint has layers, and that kind of changed the game a little bit. Whereas on previous comics and drawings and stuff, I would like it's if y'all have never done it on MS Paint, it is kind of a pain in the ass sometimes because you gotta like erase and redraw and all that stuff. But when you're on GIMP or MS Paint with layers or Photoshop or any of that, like one of those drawing software that has layers, it kind of changes how you approach the drawing in the first place. So we're used to, I would like start with the backgrounds and then draw the figures on top of that, and then realize, oh shit, I forgot to draw this or that thing, and you just got to make these like edits to this flat image. With the layers, you can have everything on separate layers, and oh, wait a second, I erased this thing, but it doesn't affect the whole rest of the drawing. So that's been a game changer. Just so that's the only reason I was able to finish those animations for Red Comic Club was it was easy to like create panels that could be exported pretty quickly. Just so you have all the layers that you think you're going to need, and then just put them all in the same document. It's great. It's fantastic.
Ah, damn it, damn it, damn it. Okay, here's the good thing. I found the comic. Here's the bad thing. I misremembered it.
Oh no.
Okay, I'm gonna pull it up on stream here. So yeah, okay. So it's USA who's showing up with the Uyghur refugees here, and it's Bermuda. Yeah, who tells them I have some old clothes you can wear, and then the final panel is the UK showing up and saying we need to talk. See, I thought that they were. I thought that if I remember it was them removing their old flag and then putting on a new one, and they were like just gray balls underneath. But apparently, no, that's not exactly what happened. But yes, this is the first instance of Bermuda as a triangle, and it is also it is still canonical evidence that yes, the flags are in fact their clothes.
See, like the beautiful thing about Polandball canon, and I've seen like conversations in the Discord about this, or was it on Polandball community? It might have been on Polandball community, the subreddit. The beautiful thing about like canon in Polandball is that if you have an idea that works, then congratulations, that's your canon now. If you want their flags to be their skin,
Yeah.
sure, that like just because someone else drew them as clothes doesn't mean that you're restricted to that, and vice versa. Just because someone else draws it as their outer exterior doesn't mean you yourself can't say, you know what, it works for the joke that I want to tell to draw it as clothing.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree completely. Or like sometimes things have been shot down, whereas like no, you can't do that, and typically it's because the way they did it was not funny or like not smart
Yes.
or not creative or whatever. But if you have a good idea and a funny execution, there is nothing saying that you can't be like a game changer.
There are two questions in here that I want, two, possibly three questions. One, where did the cave balls or the billiard balls come from? This is one of those like deep lore kinds of things that I love digging into. You probably would have first seen a billiard ball on Crouchan, if anything. Those original comics potentially started using the billiard balls to represent unincorporated countries or like places that are countries now, but people back then didn't have nation states the way we think of them, and so they used what you've seen is the 8 ball to represent African peoples. You've seen the 7 ball to represent Native American peoples, and kind of keeping in line with the idea that early Crouchan was a little bit more on the racist side, in the sense that everybody is poking fun at everybody. Why is an 8 ball representing African peoples? Why is a 7 ball representing Native American peoples? Put two and two together.
Yeah. Which is the reason why we're sort of moving away from them. They're not really needed anymore, where the medium has gone, and we do feel like they carry a certain stigma with them.
No, precisely.
That we like, we don't really think Polandball needs this anymore.
Not as much, yeah, because I think the medium has grown so much over the years. People are actually tracking down either symbols or things that could be used as flags to represent some of those peoples. So that's an old trope. I know there was a weird time where people were using the 2 ball to represent like ancient Greece or something.
Yeah. No,
They change it to like a beta or like a lambda for Sparta or something.
That still happens today. Okay, we got a couple of questions we got to go through. Imperatus asks,
Yes.
So basically every artist's drawings are universes that are part of some massive Polandball multiverse? Sorta, kinda. We'd like to think that everything exists within the same universe, but it's so wide open. Whereas like we have comics where countries get killed by other countries, and then they're just back again in the next comic, where it's like it's so loose. Let's use Dark Souls logic, where we say that, like, you know, time and space is convoluted within the Polandball universe.
Well, there's also like each artist has their own multiverse. Like, I know in my comics, so Kolai, I think, was maybe the first person I saw that sort of canonized America as the child of Britain and France, or even Canada, one of the two. And I know I kind of touched on that, and then myself was like, okay, so Texas is the child of Mexico and the United States. And there's some of those kind of tropes that I stick to, but then there are other comics where that doesn't work for the joke, and so I just change around those relationships. And then there are other comics that I want to do more classic style, so they aren't relatives and they're just countries existing. And it really kind of depends on what you yourself want to do with each individual comic.
Let's see. FM Romaine asks, how old is this comic, the one with Bermuda Triangle? It's from 2013, so this comic is 11 years old. Dutchy asks, if podcasts are coming back, will we get another special guest, like Bioeditor, like another bigger Polandball creator on the sub? Yes, that is absolutely the plan, and that is sort of the reason why the podcast has been away for a while as well. It didn't get as big numbers as the other videos we were making, and with hindsight, looking back on it, I think we started out with the podcast a bit too soon, when the channel wasn't really popping yet. Now, like, look, we have 221,000 subscribers on the channel. This is a pretty attractive spot right now, and we're getting like pretty good numbers on everything we post. So I don't even think it necessarily has to be limited to like just other subreddit creators. I think if we like get a good launch for like a revamped podcast and like get it to pop off, I think we could probably get some bigger guests as well. I could see people wanting to like show up and participate in this.
Yeah, no, that's crazy to think about. Like we could we could probably reach out to other big YouTube creators and say, "Want to chat on our podcast?"
Yeah, some we will not reach out to, but some we could.
For sure. This question's interesting. I know either we've skipped it or just missed it. How did we meet? Well, essentially, everybody so far who has worked on this channel has all been moderators on the subreddit at one point or another.
Yes.
And so that's the kind of relationship that doesn't ever really end, if that makes sense.
That being said, the four of us who are still here, all of us had been moderators in subreddit for a very, very long time. Like we all showed up around, what was it? Around 2013, I think, somewhere.
I think Aaron started like late 2012. He kind of was at Facebook transport, and then
Aaron was a bit earlier than the rest of us.
It was a Coli comic that brought me to the subreddit. Is somebody cross-posted it to r/funny before, or like actually right around the time the cross-posting was like forbidden.
And I think I showed up in the subreddit like a week before Coli did. That being said, the only one in the mod or in this team of creators who I've actually met IRL is Coli, because Coli showed up to a meetup that some of us in the subreddit held, where we all congregated in Poland, in Krakow, in Poland, and Coli showed up for that, and so did I, and that's hey. That's where I met my wife. She was also a Polandballer back then, so that's pretty cool. That yes, you can have sex through Polandball. Yeah,
that's a way to put that.
That's a way to put it. You can make babies through Polandball. But no, that's so. I'm rectifying that, by the way, of not having met anyone else. Thanks to Aaron. Aaron is rectifying that for me, because Aaron is actually coming to Stockholm. He's coming to visit me about a couple of weeks from now. He's gonna show up here. I'm gonna show him the town, and it's someone I've chatted with like online basically every day for the past decade, and it's about time. It's about time I actually get to meet him for real as well. I think you're muted, CSM. I think you managed to mute yourself. I look in Discord and I see that CSM is muted. So I'm gonna have to keep on talking until he unmutes himself. I'm gonna have to find some more questions. Oof. Oh, scrolling. No, I think he wrote something in chat. I'm gonna have to see.
Yes, I have returned. Yeah, my wife got back from being out. Yeah.
Oopsie. Can you make countryballs fight for the last slice of pizza? That sounds like the sort of animation that most likely already exists on YouTube, and we try to not be like that derivative. We try to be a bit more original than that if we can.
Ooh, here's another good, interesting question. What's the most difficult decision we've ever had to make? And I'm assuming you mean like in the Polandball sphere.
That is a very
I
good question.
think I think maybe the most difficult decision that I've been part of as a mod member is this decision to start this channel, as opposed to continuing on as we had been in sort of this we're not promoting Poland ball activity as some sort of personal gain type thing. We're not like self promotion, that sort of thing. We had this long standing attitude toward that where we were just not super into that, really. But that's a very old internet idea that something is only in the public domain and that you were all just making memes or whatever. And then a few years ago, people started creating content based on comics that we had drawn, sort of
Yeah.
taking that intellectual property and creating something with it without our permission, really. And so, I mean, but for the longest time, most of us sort of still had that old internet attitude of just like, well, we stuck it out on the internet, it is what it is. Versus now, I think the decision for us to actively say we are going to create content knowing where we're putting it, knowing that what can come from this.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
we've talked about that for a long time. That like we for the longest time we wanted to keep Poland ball pure, as it were, not
Quote unquote
connected with
pure.
like monetary gain or business or whatever. And we were a bit naive in that because we did manage to uphold that for the longest time in the subreddit itself. But then we just saw that like other people, like vultures or whatever, other people were making money off of the work that we were doing while we weren't. And then it's like, this doesn't feel right. This feels wrong. And maybe we need to just rethink the way we do things. That being said, for me, starting this channel was a no-brainer. It was because it was my idea. I'm the one who was pushing for it and like wanted us to do it. So I was on board from day one.
Yeah, I mean, the opportunity to be part of this was awesome, and it's not something I don't take for granted. But it's also kind of like unlearning that 10 years by that point of, well, this is just how Poland ball is, and
Mm.
it's okay. So we're moving into this sphere where we're now making money or trying to grow a business doing this.
Yeah.
But it's
Hey,
it's been over a year since then, and
yeah. Deadly Sledgehammers asked, who is the youngest person on your team of content guys? Well, on the channel right here on there's four of us. It's me, CSM, Aaron, and Kolai doing stuff on the channel, and we're all in our like 30s and above, so we're all oldies at this point. If you're looking at the subreddit and the people who actually like draw comics on it, we've had people we know of who have been like as young as like 12 or 13, who've still been like community members.
yeah, I mean, if you're old enough to have an internet connection, you're old enough to draw a comic. But just something about the older one gets, the more maturity and life experience you have, and your humor is just better as you get older, if that makes sense. So it's rare you see somebody that young that has just a solid sense of humor already.
Mm. Average Man asks, when did you guys get into Poland ball and how? Did someone tell you about it or did you find it by accident? Well, for me, it was like I was in law school at that point, and I was just using Reddit as a form of escapism, as just something to when studies got too much and when I just needed like a mental break, I was on Reddit. And I found just an Ask Reddit thread about, hey, what are some small underrated subreddits that no one knows about but that people like should know about? And someone just dropped Poland ball and it got like a bunch of upvotes, and and I went and checked it out, and at that point the subreddit had like less than 5,000 subscribers or something. It was
Oh,
like
so
really
you were
small.
part of the Great Ask Credit migration.
No, this was an earlier one. The Great Ask Reddit migration
Oh,
came slightly after. That was when we jumped from like 5K to 10K, like in 2 days or something. That's when my wife showed up. But I showed up like I think 2 months or something before the Great Ask Reddit migration happened.
I was the result of an r/funny cross post.
Ooh.
So somebody
Yeah,
had cross posted one.
I was gonna say it had to be a Colai comic because the Colai's comics
It was a Colai comic.
always got cross posted back then.
Yeah, it was Canada had a rough childhood, and I remember seeing that comic like, oh, that's interesting. That's really cool. But wait, are there more of these? Oh my God, there's an entire subreddit full of these kind of comics.
Whoa.
And I was just sold. And it was about 2 months before I gained the nerve to try to draw my own comic.
So, Sardine, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you a question just because you've been spamming it a bit, and it's a weird question. It asks, "What is the lore of the Middle Eastern countries?" And it's like, the lore of the Middle Eastern countries is the history of the real countries, right? These are not countryballs are not just some sort of like made up thing that have their own identities that are like disconnected from the world and disconnected from real culture or whatever. Polandball is a medium for telling stories about reality, telling stories about the real world and things that happen or whatever. And so if you understand the culture of the Middle East and the history of the Middle East and the politics and international relations, then you know how to write Middle Eastern countryballs. It just comes by itself.
So that being said, characterization can change from artist to artist.
Yes.
So
And
say,
people do
for example,
establish like certain tropes that then become very established. Like I have always been pushing very hard for like the whole metrosexual Sweden character, for example.
well, precisely. Like, so you've got your country stereotypes, you've got your country's history. The way that gets characterized is so different. Like, some people draw America as this dumb, overly aggressive meathead sort of character, and I think others characterize America as this like kind of too cool for school, suave, maybe a little bit dumb. But all of that's kind of based in this sort of American stereotype in the culture. And so as it relates to the Middle Eastern countries, like whatever history and culture is there, that's kind of a non-negotiable. You go to the Middle East and that's just how people are, for example, or you read their history books and these are the events that happened. How you characterize that and the way they come across when interacting with other countries, that's kind of dependent on you and your interpretation of this stuff.
Saffern donated $1.99 to say that Epstein didn't kill himself. Now he later retracted this message, but I will repeat it because he is 100% correct. Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself, and I will say that on stream.
Look, I feel like if you have a disagreement with that, there's bigger issues.
Let's see. The Trev Dog asks, do Poland balls have muscles? Like, how do they move? Well, I always just imagine them as like bouncy balls. They're just bouncy balls.
See, it's funny because, like, again, that's one of those comic to comic things. I know I've seen some comics, like I know a deleted user had this Germany comic where he stopped at the red light and everybody else is bouncing. Like, sometimes it's bouncing, sometimes it's rolling, sometimes it's scooting. It's just kind of... Again, it's just whatever works for the comic.
Yeah.
Sometimes the movement is part of the... There's this great... this user who's long deleted their content or their account, where so I think it's Poland is like the wheel of a wheelbarrow or something, and it's this runaway wheelbarrow, and they're trying to get it to stop, and then they start throwing all sorts of countries at it. So it's like a lot of those like Central European countries, and then finally, like they either throw Germany at it or something, and it turns into the Reichtangle to stop the wheelbarrow
Oh
from
yeah, yeah, yeah,
rolling.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, I have a vague memory of that now. That's so funny. Um, but I've said this before as well. Whereas like I think country balls sort of like move and wiggle around and whatever the same way as like Kirby. Uh,
Mm,
I imagine Kirby moving around pretty much like a country ball would. Because he can bounce and be squishy, and in some games he's rolling instead of bouncing.
yes. It's I don't know why. Again, maybe just like the ADHD of it and looking at stuff, but on the screen you still have the Bermuda comic, and you've got USA with oars,
Yeah,
and that's always like the physics of these limbless country balls
you can do
moving
so much with
things.
it.
There's
Young
so much you can do.
Youngblood asks if there was one thing you could change about the Polandball rules, what would it be? And I know what my answer is. I have two things. Number one, I hate the handy pole, and I would ban the
Yeah.
handy pole if I could.
Oh man.
And number two, um, I I really dislike the loophole of putting price tags and then it's okay to have like hair and mustaches
Mm,
and stuff. I'm like, it's such a stupid loophole. I think either we allow it or we ban it, but allow it
yeah.
if you put on a price tag. I just think it's so dumb and I've always hated it.
You know why I get so much entertainment from that question if we could change anything about the Poland ball rules? Simply because like if you look at the moderators list, you're talking to the top two right now, and
Yeah.
if for some reason we had some kind of power trip, we could just change the rules.
Um,
But yeah, no, I kind of dig things as they are. If I could change anything, it would be streamlining what's on the approval list page, and because essentially, like a lot of what's currently on that page is trying to codify all of those unique use cases. Like, well, don't do if your oxen is grazing and it's doing XYZ, and if it gets gored by someone else's oxen, then you need to do this thing. Like that's kind of what it feels like sometimes. And
mm,
so if I could change anything, it would be streamlining. Like here are the non-negotiables. Here's the hard, fast rules. Everything else, like as long as you're sort of adhering to that, then it's kind of just a vibe at that point.
yeah.
Like so, like the sunglasses on the USA. It's a character trope that is known and recognized, but it's not 100% necessary all the time.
Now let's see. Froglord asks how many approval requests have we gotten in the last week? I'm gonna
Oh
go.
man, that is a backlog.
Yeah, I know there's a backlog right now. There's currently a backlog, and we haven't been able to check them in a couple of days. I'm gonna go and do a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. But that's just what's not archived. So that's the backlog. We have a backlog of 17 approval requests that are just sitting there waiting for a review. That's awful. Let's see. But then we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 plus 17. 32. We have gotten 32 approval requests in the past 7 days. That's yeah,
Just
yeah,
wild. Like the number of approval requests is kind of increased disproportionately with the traffic we're currently seeing.
yeah, yeah. Traffic is down, but people are still, into it and want to make comics and want to participate. And I think a lot of it is because of this YouTube channel. I think this YouTube channel has actually driven a lot of like new young fledgling new artists to the subreddit who like want to participate and draw their own comics. I
Which is
really
really
do.
neat. Like
Yeah.
we've been doing this for 11 and a half years and it's still popular and people are still interested in it.
Mm.
Ooh, Hello Hi asked a really kind of intense question here. If we
Cool.
hate the handy poll so much, why does the 50K sub special have a handy poll?
Yeah.
It's it's one of those like the
It's
original.
it's
Have
because
y'all
I
seen the
didn't
original
make
handy
it.
poll? Yeah, yeah. The original handy poll comic was the person that made that did
Lost
it
Horta.
knowing.
Lost Horta,
Yeah,
Mexican.
God, that it's such a good comic, and it's one of those like it's great as a one-off because it worked that one time and it was just so well done. And then when they did like after that comic, more and more people were like, "Ooh, I want to do a handy poll now," and then it just turned into this get out of the rules free card to draw
Yeah.
arms and stuff.
So I think what the handy poll and the price tags have in common is that they're both loopholes in a way. They're both just
Yeah.
like a cheat code for being able to feature stuff that you otherwise can't. And otherwise, I think like I like the artistic limitation of like, no, it's just a ball. Um, you have to be creative with doing things like pointing at things or movement or whatever. That's one of the things I've talked about with bioeditor. How I love how he uses movement lines to almost mimic limbs, which is like so cool. I love the way he does that. It's so smart.
Yeah. No,
I
that
never thought about that. I never thought about using movement lines to mimic limbs.
BioEditor is just such a classic comic artist. Like
Yeah.
not even just like Polandball, just the comics inspiration that he brings to it, like the strip layout, which those of y'all who are listening who are not approved, unfortunately that comic strip layout does not abide by the approval request rules.
Mm.
So once you get approval, you can start doing that. But
Well, it's just a problem of like that's not how people read comics nowadays because nowadays everyone just scrolls on their phones. That's how people read things on the internet, which means that you have to make it in a vertical format. If you do it in a horizontal format, that's just like that's how people read print comics back in the day.
yeah,
So it's just a reality of the world we live in now. You have to like sort of adapt to it. Um, I just remembered something. We are like an hour in, and I have not done the
oh wow.
typical call to arms that we usually do, which is, you know, I gotta throw this out. Sorry, CSM. I gotta cut this off for a second or so
Yeah, yeah,
to do the
go
plug.
for it.
Okay. Hey people. Hey people. Isn't this a cool stream? Don't you feel like you this is man, this is a good channel. This is a channel that's popping and going places, and this is a cool community, and everything's just growing, and everything just feels so hype. And I want to participate in that. I want to be a part of this community, and I want to help out, and I want to make sure that can uh, these guys can have a long career, like being able to like put all of their work into this channel. I want Aaron C14 to have steak dinner every night and whatever Putin or craft dinner or whatever they eat in Canada. I want Aaron to have that. Well, now you can because we have channel memberships where there is a little button down there that says join next to our name. You can click on that and you can get a subscription to this channel. We have a couple of different tiers you can choose from with a couple of different perks. No matter what perk you get, you will get this cool little badge next to your name showing how long you've been a member for, because it's a badge that evolves over time, and that's cool. And you get your name in the credits of our longer videos, and if you go to a higher tier, you also get access to a behind the scenes channel in our Discord server where you can see like works in progress and stuff we're working on, and you get to like give input and like see things ahead of time. That's rad. So we got all of this cool stuff that you can get access to and support the channel the same way. And even if you can't, It helps us a lot with engagement. If you just like leave a like on the stream, leave a like on our videos, comment on them. If you leave likes on stuff and you watch stuff and you comment on stuff, that tells YouTube, it's like, ooh, this is a good video. This is a video that people engage with. That must mean it's a good video. That means I should recommend this video to other people. So if you do that, if you do leave likes on our stuff and comment on them, you are effectively telling YouTube, hey, YouTube, you should show these videos to more people in like their feeds. So you help us out a lot that way too. And you should do that. Yeah, you should do that for us if you like us. Okay, that was the plug. I've done the plug.
Deadly Sledgehammers, I think, has asked this question a couple times.
Mm.
What is the longest comic we can remember by number of strips, and should I beat that said number? The longest single comic that I know of is honestly probably a Hinadira comic. They collaborate with Selena Cystine, or have collaborated on a few different ones. The Greatest Enemy is one of those like really long singular comics. So I know that pretty much if you look at Hinadira or Selena Cystine's either of their accounts, you'll see some of the longest. Oh no, I remember now. It's Christmas Islands Day. It was this massive,
yeah. But that was a collaboration.
massive.
That was
It was a
lot.
massive collaboration.
That was a lot of
But I think
people
that
involved
counts.
in that one. Yes, it counts.
I think that still counts as like a long comic. It was a lot of different people contributing panels, but Christmas Islands Day has so many panels, and it is such a long, singular story. And I don't know that that effort has been replicated or attempted since then. Beyond that, you have folks like myself who have drawn multi-panel comic serials. So I think my World at War had 36 individual chapters, and then the Cold War had 12 chapters, and I think the panel count across those is somewhere shy of 300. I know Dick Rhino has a couple of serials.
Yeah, but
I don't know how to pronounce.
They're not even Älvsborg, the fort of Älvsborg.
Elfsport.
But they're not even close as long. No. Okay, so I looked it up now. Christmas Islands Day is a total of 181 panels.
That's probably the longest single comic. Like consistent front to back. Yeah, that's probably the longest singular comic.
Ooh, I have cat number 2 showing up. I might be able to do cat tags again. One sec. There we go. I got Snoopy. Hello, Snoopy. You are now a superstar.
Oh, someone's asking if there's going to be a song where the USA is singing. I think that kind of depends on what the next parody is going to be, honestly.
See, I've been a bit concerned about that because I'm just gonna. Oh yeah, cat tags. Oh, look at that. Look at that marvelous cat. Look at that gorgeous cat. Oh, he's so fine. He's so cool. Everyone loves Snoopy. Everyone loves Snoopy. Yeah, that's a good cat. Now,
How like Swedish cats don't look that different from American cats. Perfect killing machines.
they are ragdolls. Now, here's the thing. I have been a bit concerned about people dropping requests for your next thing, where it's like, because it's always about the context, right?
Yes.
Because your first music video was about Germany, and your second music video was about Japan, and then you had a bunch of comments saying, "Ooh, do Italy next," and I'm like, there's some context here. maybe we shouldn't do Italy next. Is what I'm saying.
Poland instead. Yeah, I think it really kind of depends on if there's an idea for it, if there's a song that's either popular or well known enough that works. So when we came up with 2 Days into Belgium, I think those conversations were just like, this would be kind of fun. This song's popular. This idea is interesting. And it turned into 2 days into Belgium. We threw the short out there, not knowing what the reception was going to be. But I knew within my soul that we couldn't just record that 30-second snippet
Yeah.
or 18 seconds or whatever it was. I knew within my soul we needed to prepare a long version because people would be wanting it. And so with the next parody, which is kind of a parody, but also more of a original track, Land of the Rising Sun, just given that those lyrics, House of the Rising Sun,
Mm.
are public domain.
Yeah.
But the arrangement, the animals' arrangement, is not public domain. So we were trying to experiment and see if we could like do a semi-original song and skip the whole copyright thing, copyright sharing. But then the reception to that one, I mean, flattered and humbled by y'all's reception to it as it's on Spotify and just seeing the stream counts increase.
Yeah.
But the parodies of existing song, like the direct one-to-one parody, is obviously the more engaging track because you know what the original song sounds like and you want to hear the joke version, so to
Yeah.
speak. So
Deadly
that's where.
Sledgehammers, yeah, says I gotta go.
Oh,
Seeing family for dinner. Toodles. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for hanging out. Toodles.
yeah,
But yeah,
been asking a lot of great questions.
yeah, but no, YouTube is a crapshoot, right? YouTube is just like
Yes.
throw things against the wall and see what sticks because you can. I've told you guys that in the team because I had a gaming channel that I have together with my wife. It's on hiatus right now. It's called Two Star Players. Yeah, go check it out. Two Star Players. That's the gaming channel that I run with my wife. It's on hiatus right now. Uh, Putting all of my focus onto the Polandball stuff instead. But that means that like I had already like 4 years of YouTube experience before I started this channel with you guys, and I've already sort of like experienced a lot of the things that the three of you were sort of like just learning over time and just seeing for the first time for yourselves. And one of those things that I've told you over and over again is that it is completely goddamn impossible to know in advance what people are going to like and what they're not going to like. It is
Yeah.
you cannot predict it.
Well, so I remember, and it, if we ever have the opportunity to go full time, I'd love to resurrect PNN because it's just a fun little weekly thing.
Yeah.
It just is so time consuming, and that's what we realized is that it took so much time, and it's this weekly content that is already kind of stale by the time the next one comes out. It's not
Oh,
like
what
I.
quick interruption. I'm so sorry. Deadly Countryball says,
I
"Wait, I've heard of two-star players because of Warframe." Yes, I know. It is primarily a Warframe channel. Yes, that's me. That's me. I'm that guy. Sorry. Keep going.
No, that's cool. No, but so we realize it's hard to put that much effort into something like PNN only for the videos to not really get much traction, especially because as soon as it's out, there's a new news event and it's hard to stay relevant and current. So when we started doing the shorts and realized that like we were just throwing those out there to see what would happen, like let's convert comics into these shorts and see what happens. And then Alaska Disaster.
Yeah.
Fun fact about Alaska Disaster. For those of you who, if this is your favorite short, I apologize for what I'm about to say. We didn't think it was as good as some of the other ones we were working on.
No,
And
no.
so
We ourselves
through that to the algorithm,
we thought it was mid.
we thought it was. So we just threw it to the algorithm to see what would happen. And then lo and behold, the algorithm loved it. And
Yeah.
it shot up parabolically and brought everything else along with it. And that's when we were like, "Ooh, we should probably just do this for a while and see what happens." And then, of course, that kind of like turned into. So I don't know if you saw this conversation in the Discord, Dick Rhino, but we were kind of theorizing that YouTube at large right now is struggling with this whole these long form content creators are struggling with the shorts format because when they start making shorts, like that's a whole different audience, and they're hemorrhaging their long form viewers to shorts. And
Yeah, I've talked
we
about
kind of
that as well, where other channels, they sort of struggle with that because shorts viewers and the people who watch like longer videos, they're not the same. They're like two completely
right.
different audiences. So if you cater to one, you sort of alienate the other one. Before I continue, I'm just going to say that just to honor your American soul, a cool
Uh,
foxy donated
oh yes, I
1776,
did see that.
which is super rad. Man, Foxy, you're a legend. You are a legend.
And we don't use that term lightly either.
No, we don't. We do not. Um,
At this point, should we just do an art commission for him because he's bought that tier so many times?
we probably,
At this
you
point,
know what? We probably should at this point. Because yeah, he is donated many times over that. Hey, a cool Foxy, if you do want an art commission from any one of the four of us, tell us what you want. Tell us who you want to draw it, and tell us what sort of work you would want us to draw for you, and we will make that happen. Because goddamn, at this point, you have absolutely earned it. You are 100% correct. Now back to what I was saying. What was I saying? We were talking about shorts and long
oh
form
yeah,
videos,
sure.
and but that's a problem for most channels, because most channels, these are two different audiences. But what we have found with our channel is that like we have a really dedicated community, and we have like
Yes.
a fan base who just wants to sort of consume any and all country balls related content that gets put out. So I think it's so good for us running a channel, for like actually making this work and maybe being able to make this a full-time thing in the future, that that you guys are like that you guys just you don't differentiate between our shorts and our longer videos and our live streams. You just watch everything, which is awesome, because that is an anomaly on YouTube. Most fan bases are not like you guys are, and
Yeah.
it's just really cool for us to see.
Oh, it's super neat. And if anything, I think we kind of have the reverse problem from most YouTube, where they're hemorrhaging their long form viewers to shorts. We're just trying to convert shorts viewers to long form viewers. But again, like y'all's, and talking directly to you, chat, y'all's just literally, we like type something in the Discord and y'all are there. We put something on YouTube, all of y'all are watching it, and that's super cool. And it's very humbling to be a part of and to witness and be a part of this. And like I think y'all's attentiveness to those new releases helps it in the algorithm too. Just every time we pump out a short, like 10 of y'all in the comments, and then YouTube's like, "Oh, all right, put that in the algorithm with everything else." And it's just super cool.
Yeah. Oh, hey. Frog Lord said, I checked it out in the Discord. He wrote something for you. He has noticed a pattern in your music videos,
Oh,
where Amy Carty is Irish, and apparently Chapel Rowan has made a song called "Subway in Dublin." So there's an Irish connection here, which means that potentially your next song could be about
you
Ireland.
know, I did see someone in chat just now talking potentially about like a potato famine song, and as dark as that is, I feel like that's precisely the kind of thing that we could. Well, I mean, Weird Al, who is
Yeah, if we find the right song for it. Okay, Cool Foxy donated 50 buckos,
wow.
says, all right, I'ma leave, see you later. And he says, I commission a comic featuring Sierra Leone. Absolutely. Goddamn done. We will make this happen for you, my man. Do not worry about it. so rad.
It's so wild, so cool.
Oh my god! And he also
Memberships.
dropped down 5 memberships. Foxy, you are nuts. You are a certified crazy person.
Oh man,
All right.
so cool.
As always, Foxy, thank you for blessing us with your presence. God damn, because I've never seen anyone else who can just show up and make chat just pop off like that. We don't deserve you, man. You're really cool.
Yeah, it's super neat. I don't think I've ever been a part of anything like this. Can we put this video was sponsored by a cool foxy at the end of each? At this point, we probably should.
Yeah, pretty much. Sardine asks, "What's your opinion on cheese balls?" I really like cheese balls, and I'm doing a keto thing right now to lose weight, so I cannot have cheese balls on the reg. And I just had a cheat day yesterday, which means it's gonna be a month until my next cheat day. So that is the next potential time I could have cheese balls, and now I'm sad that you put that in my head.
Are the cheese balls in Sweden healthier than in the States?
I mean, they're probably not super healthy here either. Hard to know. I've seen those videos where they talked about, or just images, where they compared like, this is what's in a Fanta if you buy it in Europe. This is what's in a Fanta if you buy it in the US. And it's like, oh, that made me sad.
I'll say, like, we're in Texas, we're close enough to Mexico that Mexican Coke is a thing. Not like cocaine, but like Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And it's like cane sugar and stuff.
Thanks for the clarification.
Do have to make that distinction. You gotta sometimes, man. Closer you get to the border. But no, so like Mexican soft drinks up here, down here, whatever you want to call it, are a lot of them have cane sugar instead of corn syrup or whatever the hell you stick in the lab-made chemicals or whatever. And there's a distinct taste difference. And honestly, I think the Mexican Coke is a little bit better.
You might be right. I mean, when I was in the US, I had that sort of like, heard that warning or had that trepidation about like, oh, everything is gonna taste so sugary and artificial. That wasn't really my impression. I was like, no, it still just tastes like food.
Whereabouts in America were you?
San
Francisco. Yeah. I know California's laws are a little bit stricter in some of that regard. So the State Fair of Texas is in effect right now.
Is that where you find the deep fried stick of butter?
That's precisely where you find the deep fried stuff. Like, there's no reason that this food should be deep fried, and they've done it.
That being said, the deep fried Mars bar was invented in Scotland, not the US.
Interesting.
The Trev dog, he's dropped this question so many times, we have to answer at this point. What is your favorite Polandball trope? For example, upside down Poland, Singapore triangle, Poland cannot into space, whatever. What is a trope that you really like enjoy seeing in comics?
Ooh, I don't know if it's like exactly a trope, but anytime the Nordic countries are featured, I know it's going to be a good comic.
Here's one.
Historically,
I'm going to say one that I haven't seen in a long time, but I know it's one that Java Code loved to do in his comics, and that is France and Germany being like forbidden lovers.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's always a lot of fun.
There's so much potential for comedy there. I think he drew them having like a sort of like S&M relationship with each other.
I mean, on that note, like, I don't know if we can stick it on stream just because I drew the original swastikas on Nazi Germany, but in my A World at War series, the dominatrix Nazi character.
Yeah, yeah, of
Uh,
course. It writes itself.
it
Uh,
really does.
yeah. Louis asks, what's your favorite hobby other than animating or like drawing, I guess? Well, I mean, I'm a huge gamer. I'm a huge gamer. And like I said, I even had like a gaming YouTube channel together with my wife. Um, I spend most of my free time that if I'm not tending to my daughter and not doing like family stuff at this point, um, I play video games. And currently, I held out. I held out from getting into the whole gacha thing for the longest time, but then like Zenless Zone Zero, which is the latest one of the Genshin Impact sort of games, they just dropped a character, upcoming characters. She's gonna be released in like 2 weeks, but they dropped like her art and whatever like a month ago. She's called Bernice. Yeah, she's a fire character. She's called Bernice, and I just looked at the character design, and everything was just. I was just like, this is peak. This is the coolest fucking character design I've ever seen for like an anime waifu or whatever. And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be the one. This is gonna be the one that's gonna suck me into the gacha thing. I'm like, this character design is so fucking good that I'm gonna have to start playing this game just so that I can get this character when it comes out. It is
Oh man,
madness.
see,
I'm gonna pull this up on stream so I can show
yeah.
you. Okay.
See, as far as games, I've just been on Starfield since it came out,
Oh
and
really?
I don't care what Reddit says about it. I love it, and I can get sucked into it for hours and hours, and in fact, I still do.
That's rad. Uh,
Someone's asking if we should get you DR into Southern barbecue at some point. It's
here, I'm
you're
gonna
gonna.
pull this up. This is like a
Oh
piece
yeah,
of
yeah.
a piece of art. I'm not sure if this is like the official art or whatever. We're gonna throw it on stream, and here she uses tonfas that are also flamethrowers,
Hmm.
and the heels of her shoes are like little lighters, and all of her colors are just black and red, and like a leather skirt and a leather jacket and pigtails that say fire, and she's got these huge like gasoline tanks on her back, and like everything about this character design is just so cool. Here, okay, this is official art, so I'm gonna pull that one up too. um yeah, the details in red on the skirt, and again the flamethrower tonfas is I'm like, I love everything about this character design. Everything about this character design just screams like, oh, I want to play this character. So that's how I got into gacha games finally, after being able to stay out for as long as I did. Sad. Yes, ephemeral mine. Latex biker pyromaniac girlfriend. That's exactly it.
Excellent. Oh
Mm.
yeah, Louis. Yes, Starfield is peak. DLC is. I mean, if you like Bethesda, if you like Starfield, it's fun.
Mark asks, CSM, have you ever regretted making a comic?
Ooh, I'm not proud of my earlier efforts, only because I was still new at the medium and I didn't quite understand how to do Polandball comics. So my very first comic ever, that interestingly enough, Dick Rhino, you actually approved it. And
Mm.
I think like I tell everybody if I'm ever in this conversation that it would not pass muster today because it's basically just like my retelling of history, imagining the United States, Mexico, Texas relationship as like these feuding parents with this kid stuck in the middle. Like there's just nothing super Poland ball about those early comics that I did. So I wouldn't call it regret so much as it's just I didn't understand the medium as well as I do now. Um,
I definitely have some things I look back on in some of my earlier works, whereas like if I look at it now, I was like, oh, that's just edge lordy
mm.
stuff. Whereas like, why did I even do that? That didn't need to be there.
Yeah, and it's probably that old internet style too, just the way people wrote on the internet, the types of jokes that were told back then, it probably made more sense then. But nowadays is look, you're the Slammer, that
Yeah,
comic about
I
Sweden.
mean,
It's still,
no,
it's still so fucking funny today.
I stand by the Slammer. Okay, that is a good comic.
That final panel
Yeah,
every single time is just so good.
no, I stand by the Slammer. I'm not gonna suffer through any Slammer slander.
Oh, I also really appreciate like I I don't remember my exact in the moment reaction, but when you first posted the America trampoline comic,
Yeah. But hey, that was my version of, like that you never know in advance, like how people are gonna react to the things you make. When I made that comic, I didn't think it was a big deal. I just drew a thing and I thought it was stupid and I threw it out. I had no idea that was the comic that was really gonna piss people off like nothing I had ever done before.
it was so good though.
That was
Oh
Yeah.
man.
I was like, holy shit. I did
Was that
not
the same week? Yeah.
I
Was
don't
that the
know.
same week that Pierre Mead did the Dr. Osterreich's butthurt
No,
ointment
no, 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 no,
comic?
no.
Was
No,
that
that
later?
no, that came different. That came during a time when we were that was during a period when we had just gotten like a huge influx of Americans who got like really
Yeah.
super butthurt about everything and super easily offended about everything and demanded that we can only joke about other countries but we can't joke about the US. Um, like they do sometimes. And
Yes.
and as a counter reaction to that, we had a lot of people at the same time specifically drawing comics targeting Americans and specifically making comics about, it was a sort of meta. People started making comics about the
Yeah.
fact that Americans can't take a joke about their own country. So that was when Pyramid did his Dr. Österreich's Butthurt Cream comic. It's very good, but it is also very meta.
Yeah, it's one of those like specific places in it, like it just had to be there for it to really have the effect.
Mm. Froglord asks, how many approval requests do you review per week? Well, like, look, we try to review all of them, right? Well, we do review all of them. Currently, we have a backlog that's way too big, so I'm going to attack that probably tomorrow, and CSM can help me out so we can deal with it
Yeah,
together
I got
because
some time in the morning.
we've let it pile up for a couple of days now. But for example, in the past 7 days, we've gotten 35 approval requests, and that means that
It's crazy.
we do 35 reviews. Everyone gets a review. Everyone who makes a comic and
Yes,
sends it in gets a review. No exception.
we do review, yes, every single one that comes through, because how are you gonna know if your comic's good if you don't have somebody look at it?
Sardine asks, "What is your favorite PC game?" So we got that as a caveat.
Oh.
Because if you're talking favorite game of all time, I would say Final Fantasy VII on the PS1, the original. Yes, Mark, I know it's been 9 days. Look, we don't have an excuse, but we have been letting IRL stuff like pile up, and
Oh.
and we know that we are super behind on the approval requests right now. We will look at it, I promise you. Me and CSM
It's
will go.
funny because yeah,
Me and CSM will go
unless
through the
Worsey or
backlog.
somebody else gets to it first.
Frosty asks, how do I turn in a comic though? Well, it's pretty simple. you upload it to imgur.com, and then you send us a link by using the process that is described in the sidebar of the subreddit. Yeah, that's
Are
it.
we able to post links in the chat?
No, you cannot post URL links in chat,
I
unfortunately.
was just gonna link the approval the
Yeah. No, it
post
doesn't.
page.
No, it doesn't work. It gets auto removed if you try to post a URL in chat.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. Deadly Countryball asks, why did my comic get blocked? Well, I'm gonna guess probably because you're not an approved submitter in the subreddit and you tried to post anyway. It just gets auto removed. The Great Northerner asks, are you the best Polandball channel? And the answer to that is yes. And we used to say it, sort of as a way of just being a bit cocky and like just trying to etch in our space on YouTube. But I'm gonna say, at this point, when we've been doing this for a year, and we're starting to sort of learn and figure out what we're supposed to be doing and how to like manage a channel, at this point, I'm pretty confident in saying that, like, if not the best, we're definitely one of the best Polandball channels. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, the advantage we have especially is being able to turn out the shorts quicker because our animation is not as high tech as someone like
No,
some of the
it's
others that you
very
may
low
have seen.
tech. It's very low
It's
tech.
very low. But Poland Ball is a low tech kind of medium. It's all like when you put in the effort to make a solid comic, it's awesome and it gets received well. And then someone comes in with a low effort art, but the joke it just lands. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what makes a Poland Ball comic what it is. And so I think for us, kind of finding that niche where we can produce pretty quickly and produce like pretty solid jokes regularly. Like it might not be the flashiest animation, but it's kind of what the medium is about.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark asks, will Kolai secretly cut ties with the crew and steal the channel, then make it his personal channel so that he can get all the money? And the answer to that is no, because Kolai acknowledges, just like all of us do, that we are nothing without Aaron.
Well, what's really crazy to me, so like to take that not serious question and have a serious answer, just if we are looking at it in purely cutthroat terms, the four of us are better together than we are separately,
Yes.
and we can create something better together than we could individually do on our own.
I think we complement each other in really good ways, like all of us.
Yeah, like I can't crank out art nearly as fast as Aaron can. I am a little bit more of a perfectionist with it, and I get in my head and I just can't crank out panels that quickly. But I am the only one on the team doing the music, and which is its own kind of unique thing that I can add to the channel. Colai and Dick Rhino, like the two of those, y'all are just everyman kind of people. Like you can do a little bit of everything, but Colai's really kind of made the streaming niche. Just he interacts with y'all in such a unique and interesting way. Um, so yeah, I feel like the four of us together are much better together than we have or could be separately. So serious answer to a joke question, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't see the four of us splitting up anytime soon, because I think all of us sort of acknowledge what we have here and the potential for this channel to like actually become, a new career for all of us. And I think I think the four of us are along for the ride.
It's a fun ride so far. Just a year ago, not knowing what this would look like, and a year in realizing, oh, so this is what works, and these are things that we can do, and we still want to experiment and
Yeah.
do some creating. So,
Official Penguin Empire account asks, what are our opinions on penguins?
penguins are fucking cool, but then there's this one Werner Herzog documentary where the penguin walks out into the Antarctic continent, and that just gave me an existential crisis. Like,
Oh man.
I oh,
Well, for me, I'm gonna say that during the era of mockumentaries, which I think is like early 2000s, you know, with the The Office, and there was like a craze where everyone wanted to do like some sort of media that was like a mockumentary, and
yeah.
and the the best penguin related computer animated CGI documentary. I'm saying that because two of them like came out in the same week, which was like Surfs Up and
Yes.
Happy Feet. I think they came out like almost the same time, and Surfs Up is the penguin based CGI mockumentary movie that's like actually really really good and has like a banger soundtrack.
Shia LaBeouf, right, is the main voice actor.
I think so. I think Jeff Bridges is in it as well. Apparently there is a Surfs Up 2, and it's supposed to be a complete trash fire. So I haven't seen it, and everyone I know has said like, hey, if you liked Surfs Up, don't watch Surfs
Oh,
Up
watch
2.
the second. Good to know. Good to know. I haven't actually seen the first one,
It's really
but
good. It's like way better than it has any right to be.
I should probably stick that on the new child docket.
Well, I think Surfs Up is like I think you're probably gonna need to be like maybe like 10 at least to watch that and like enjoy it.
Sure.
And then you have to sort of like have lived in the 90s and understood the whole thing about
Mm.
mockumentaries and how big they were back then. I think it's sort of a
Well,
timepiece.
what's kind of interesting is, and this is like a philosophical question or thought, but like as kids, we find things entertaining even if we don't have the background context necessary. Like there's so
Mm,
many SpongeBob references and jokes that flew wildly over my head as a kid, and as an adult coming back and seeing those panels and thinking, "Oh, that was just there. They slipped that joke into this episode." Or these references that they're kind of alluding to that like so much of this stuff is made by adults, and so they're obviously throwing in that's things that they think is funny, but kids are just going to latch onto or not really care about, just at like kind of ad hoc almost.
mm.
Like kids are going to find stuff funny or they're not, and they don't necessarily need all that background context. And then when they grow up and learn that background context, it suddenly takes on
It's true.
a whole new life.
Yeah, it's true. And it is just a funny movie. Louis asks, do you consider the UK a major power? LOL, no. No. No,
I
I made a comic back in the day, and this is and cat attacks again. I grabbed Coco. Hello, Coco. You have been beaten.
it's so funny. Like so, hearing that Swedish perspective of the UK, the American perspective of the UK is like, really? Like this idea that the UK is relevant. Like it's funny going back and looking at the history too. Like now, I mean, as much as I make that joke, there's also this whole like, at least for the early part of the U.S. history, we made our entire personality about the fact that we are our own country dad and we can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Um, but now there's this whole like, I don't even know that Americans think about the UK except for what they can export culturally. Like,
Hmm.
I mean,
Like Ricky
Diana,
Gervais.
well, like Ricky Gervais or whatever, like the American or the British Office, and then we make our own. Like they
Yeah.
have kings and queens and stuff, and that's kind of neat. And sometimes they give us good musicians, but
No,
This, this,
what I will say though is that like I was lying before when I said that the trampoline comic is the comic I made that pissed people off the most. No, no, it's actually number two. The comic I made that pissed the most people off was the comic I made about. I did it before Brexit, and I made it about the potential of the UK leaving the EU, and the comic was about how Britain had become this completely irrelevant thing of the past, and like their EU membership was the only thing remaining that is like still keeping them relevant, and outside of that they're just like a joke that should be relegated to like the ditch of history.
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, no, and people got real mad. They got real mad about that one.
You would too if your country was reduced to a footnote.
Yeah,
It's. I mean, yeah, it's like that. It's like that meme. All right, let's get to bed, Grandma. Um,
yeah, yeah. Louis asks, "What about Skibidi Germany? Come on, that's terrible." Well, I did that. I did that was the first shorts as a comic thing that we ever posted on this channel. That was me. I was like, I wonder if you could just do like a Polandball comic in shorts format. So I drew the Skibidi Poland one and uploaded it. So that's I tainted us from the very start. That was that was the first short we made.
it's just fun because I mean that feels just. Maybe it's just because you're good at doing Poland Ball comics. It feels like a classic comic, like one of those event style. It doesn't need to make sense. There's no reason that Russia would give the United States a Trojan horse,
Yeah.
but that's one of his best comics, and it's funny.
Louis says it was ass though. Yeah, it was.
We've learned how to do shorts better, and we've
No,
added more music to the catalog. Like,
yeah.
no one
Look,
needs to know
no, it was ass. I'm not gonna deny it. But like I said before, that's what YouTube is. You just throw things against the wall in the hopes that something will stick, and
precisely.
you have no idea in advance what's gonna work and what's not gonna work. You just don't know. So you just try anything. You just try whatever. And
Alaska Disaster is the
yeah.
perfect example. Like it took off, and then we were like, okay. And there are other ones that took off that I knew they could, like Stick War, which is just a classic burn bait.
Yeah, we sometimes you can sort of know. Where it's like, yeah, this feels like it would work as a short.
Well, it's funny, like seeing. So I don't know if y'all chat knew this, but I'm running the Instagram, and it's kind of interesting to see what Instagram
Keep
picks
chatting.
up.
Keep
Versus,
chatting. I'm gonna go grab a glass of water.
yeah, yeah. So like when I'm scrolling on Instagram and I'm posting this stuff and kind of keeping the shorts going and seeing what the Reels audience latches onto that the Shorts audience wouldn't. So that's always really fascinating to see the differences. But then also when I posted Alaska Disaster, that one jumped up like crazy, and so it's like, okay, no, I guess this is just a universally funny short. Um, ooh, I love this. So this question I like. I just find it interesting. What my favorite songs I've made for the channel. So I have this habit of I always like my newer stuff better, and I always find like the most recent thing that I did the most engaging. And so, spoiler alert, those of y'all that are on live listening, y'all heard it here first. We've got a short going live tomorrow that I put together with music that nobody has heard yet. So it was just some stuff I've been poking around on, and so all that to say, my favorite songs for the channel are usually my more recent ones. Just because that's the freshest idea on my brain and the one that's kind of like stuck in it.
Mm.
But if I had to like look at the whole catalog so far, I really liked The Friendly Historian. So just a little bit of context and background on that one. I was composing that specifically so I could do the world map video, just to have some looping background music. And so I'm listening to that track constantly as like I'm working on this video. And of course that video features a lot of old Brain for Breakfast work and his inspiration, like the world map and all that stuff. And so the title, even The Friendly Historian, was kind of my
Oh.
tribute to Brain for Breakfast.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so yeah, like it's I hadn't really talked about it. So I think of that track and I think of the world map video. I think of just friendly dissemination of information because you want people to know stuff. And also just those melodies are a lot of fun. I really like the background, the little cellos kind of jumping in the background.
Mm.
It was a fun track, and I loved seeing the streaming numbers on that one kind of increasing a lot. Like so it's fun looking at all those streaming numbers on DistroKid and seeing like, whoa, it's weird that that one's gaining traction because I wasn't as attached to that one,
Mm.
or this other track, and I'm like, ooh, I'm really glad people are latching onto that one because that one means a lot.
Look,
Um,
I think for me, I'm just gonna say I think Red Comic Club is a fucking banger.
it was a lot of fun to put together, and yeah, I think I have a hard time listening to Pink Pony Club now because I've studied it inside and out.
Yeah.
Uh, and so like and now like all my friends in real life that are following the channel and like know about the music stuff that I've been doing, Red Comic Club gets stuck in their head, and I'm like, that is a that's a flattering tribute I didn't know I needed.
Mm. And also, so far, Red Comic Club has had the strongest start out of
Yeah.
any like longer video that we've posted. So it definitely has the potential to pop off for real,
No, for real. Yeah, I
which would
mean,
be cool if
even
it
so,
if it does.
it would be really cool if it did. Like watching all of 2 days into Belgium's numbers just kind of go sort of parabolic too when that one got released. Like it's I've been making music for so many years now. I think
Mm.
16 since I first uploaded music to the internet. And this past year of y'all chat listening to the stuff that I've created has been some of the most exciting, like humbling experience of my entire life that so many people have listened, not just so many people but so many times each have listened to this music that I've just thrown into the world and put into the background of these videos. So cool. And it like
My dude, I'm
if
I'm just gonna I'm gonna drop some truth on you. Like I think you have a beautiful voice. I really do. And it just comes across in all of your stuff. I've listened to your, non Polandball stuff as well, and your normal music that you make is more on the harder side, sort of like, into the veering into the metalcore or whatever. But there's a lot of like melodic and harmonious stuff that you throw in there as well. And I thought it even back then that it's like, oh damn, this guy's got a good voice. And
thank
it
you.
really comes across in the Poland Ball songs, where you get to like sort of expand on that actually a bit, probably a bit more in some ways than you do in
Yeah.
your other music.
Oh, and that's it's been kind of liberating too, making and I've just been using this term meme music. It's kind of liberating making this meme music because there's not this fear of well, like what are people going to think about it? Like how are they going to react to it? Just knowing that you're making it to entertain and ideally to make people laugh and think and stuff, there's a lot of freedom there. So like I love reading those comments on 2 days into Belgium and people kind of getting the melancholy aspect of it.
Mm.
Because it is kind of a silly concept. Like we're kind of poking fun at the original 2 days into college. It's Amy Cardi. She's young, probably a couple of years into university, I guess, and feeling overwhelmed by everything that comes along with that stage of life. But as a 30-year-old looking at that stage of life, like really, that's uh, life is going to get a lot crazier. And so like 2 days into Belgium kind of being a parody, like, oh yeah, we're only 2 days into this world war, like we'll be fine. Knowing historically very much not fine. Um, but then that sort of being the attitude behind why we made the parody, and still there's this melancholic heart in the middle of it. Like the average soldier, like they had no idea what to expect. They were hoping it would be over by Christmas. Um, so like it's kind of cool being able to capture all of that in the music, and for everybody to kind of hear both of those elements, both the silly but also kind of like, oh, damn. So
Mm.
that's kind of making meme music. Like I'm free to do that and kind of experiment and like take it seriously insofar as it makes the joke good. Um, and I'm not worried on the back end, like if people think it sucks the way I am with the other stuff I've released.
Do you think it's sort of like broadened your musical tastes a bit, being forced to
Oh, for
listen to
sure.
these girly pop songs over and over and over again, and as you're forced to do it for this project, you sort of pick up on stuff, and you're like, oh, this part's pretty cool, and you sort of like, I don't know, maybe
So,
hear it in a
just
different
on a,
way than you did before.
yeah. So on that note, I'm probably gonna have to go here in the next 5 minutes or so. So maybe the last thing I'm saying, but
Oh, that's
like
fine. We can start wrapping it up. Let's
yeah,
before you answer the question. Yes, chat. Look, CSM had prior engagements. He could stay for 2 hours and nothing more. And for me, it is 5 minutes to midnight here in Sweden. So I also have to like wrap it up. So we've been going for like 2 hours now, which is thank you everyone for like hanging out with us
yeah.
and
Thank you for sticking around.
yeah, it's been great. It's been really fun stream, but we are gonna be wrapping it up. So I'm gonna drop that right away so people know. But yeah, no, go on, please, because I want to know as
Yeah.
well.
So like listening to, I mean, studying 2 days into college, Ping Pony Club to kind of capture all the little nuances or whatever. Amy Cardi on 2 days into college, the way her voice is interacting with the piano chords,
Mm,
like she's creating some really interesting voicings there. The pacing of her lyrics in certain parts of it, matching the sort of frantic content of the lyrics almost. The kind of at the end where she does these like like the only time she does the harmonies, it's just this, like I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that musical moment. Like those little things that you kind of miss when only the first 30 seconds are on your TikTok feed or whatever.
yeah.
Um, and Pink Pony Club, like, gosh, the amount of nuance that goes into that, like, power pop mastering and producing, and just these tiny little bits and bobs that they throw in there just to kind of like amp it up a little bit. Like so when you study something that intensely to try to recreate it, and you're listening, like, oh, there's a little synth bit in there. It's not very prominent, but when it's not there, you notice it. If that makes sense.
Mm,
Um, so like really trying hard to recreate the synth sounds at the beginning of the chorus, and like trying to reverse engineer. Wait a second, like how are they making that sound? And then trying to tune that into place, or like um, dial that to a place where it sounds at least semi what the original sounds like. So And then of course the rest of the catalog on that first album is just pulling inspiration from all over the place, like jazzy elevator music, that
Mm,
sort of like synth wave for some of it. I listen to a lot of like classical music because I'm a nerd. Like I just sit and study Beethoven and Mozart sometimes because they're just geniuses. I'm trying to understand like how they're creating chord voicings and try to apply some of that to the music. So it's been really interesting um, scoring music for a channel and seeing how that impacts my artistry also.
very cool, very cool. Patch is asking, have y'all ever heard of Toho Project? Yeah, I have heard of it. I'm just not that into it.
Oh, I guess I'm not into gotcha games, so I'm woefully out of the loop.
Mm, yeah, it's some anime nonsense.
I did
Anyway,
watch Naruto.
that's nice. Uh, anyway, I think with that very comprehensive answer, uh, that's a good a time as any to wrap this thing up at the 2 hour mark. Thank you to everyone who has been showing
Yes,
up
thank you
and
all so
hanging out
much.
with us. Yeah, it's been great. I've had a ton of fun. This has been just really fun stream. So thank you as well, CSM, for just chatting with me.
Yeah,
Um, super cool. And again, dropping it to everyone, leave a like on the stream if you haven't already. It helps out with the engagement and it makes YouTube think, wow, this is a good video, and then recommend it to other people. So that helps us out. And consider getting a channel membership if you thought that, oh, this is fun, this is enjoyable. I want to sponsor these guys so that they can continue entertaining me on a regular basis and get Aaron those steak dinners.
yes.
Yeah. Do you have any final words for chat?
Thank y'all for hanging out and enjoying the stuff that we create because it's a lot of fun creating it, and we've got a lot more.
Yeah. There you go, people. That sounds wonderful. Thanks again for watching. And with that, we're gonna sign off, and we're gonna see you guys again soon for something not entirely different, but probably a little bit different. Okay. Okay. Bye bye.
I